Hello everybody, did this make it better? If it sounds weird to you, don't worry, it's not just you. Yeah. Um Sorry for the long way. I just can't really find anywhere quiet right now, so this is the quietest place I can think of. If you hear any background noises, it's just my chickens. And yeah, let's get into it. Hello everybody, did this make it better? And today we're doing What If Deku Had the Red Thread of Fate Part 10. I did look back on my video to know exactly where I left off. Did not know I went that far, but oh well. Here we go. Actually, in about you can skip ahead about 2 minutes, but I'm going to explain something because it needs to be explained for this part. It's going to be okay. Uh, what I'm going to explain is exactly what Deku do when he uses quirk. Actually, how he using it for the different parts. You know how Uraraka she used all 5 fingers to make something float and then release with all 10 of her fingers. With Zuko, it's about 5 and 1 through 5. As I said, when he plucks something on somebody's thread, it pretty much tells them exactly what they need to hear. When he do 2 fingers, he pretty much pull and let go. It's actually yelling them that they should forgive or something like that. So it just amplifies. Oh, sorry. I thought it would be longer, shorter. With 3 fingers, you can actually see what they need to see. What he did with Jiro, that's what he did. He pressed with 3 fingers, and she saw what the scene was be it. Okay, but 4 fingers. That's what he's been doing this whole time. He's been using 4 fingers, doing slingshots, jumping, grabbing on his threads, and not doing anything else. And the 5 fingers. This one's more tricky. When he grabbed with 4 fingers on the thread and lay the thumb right there on the thread, not around it, on it. Depending on where he's pointing to, like to away from them, it's meant looking to their future. Uh, Towards them, it's meant they're going to their past, and he can control it from there. But when he pretty much wrap his thumb around it, that's when he can actually break the thread. He doesn't like doing that, but that's one thing he can do. Now, since I explained it and it was longer, now let's get back into it. Last time I left off is Zuko pretty much leaving Toga and Twice in their room. I did not explain it last time, but they're around the same age, but it's just a friendship stuff, nothing else. Unless you guys want to think it that way. Okay. But Zuko and All Might was about to go to the next cell, all for one, but it was getting really late and they won't have enough time to ask all the questions. So All Might pretty much decide Zuko to um, take a break for this, and he will call him the next time they uh, are clear to do it again. So Zuko pretty much agrees and start going home, going to the dorms. I say he's walking there. He just needs time to think. As he and let's go to All Might and Nezu. They're talking about it. They're deciding on what and they should do it and all of that, and actually making a list of questions they want to answer. Sorry, I just yawned. Okay, but over at the dorms, Zuko walked in. He's pretty tired, so he pretty much lay in living room of sorts, and just like he just pretty much started watching TV. Some time passes, and he sees and Suyu actually saw Zuko and walked up, sat right next to him, and lay on him. Since they're really close right now, and she just decided to lay on him, so she's had her own pillow now. Let's skip. Yeah. So 2 days. No, let's do it this. Sorry, it's very hard to think of it right now. I have the ideas, I just can't put it together yet. Okay, got it. So Zuko got really tired and actually fell asleep. Suyu fell asleep right next to him a few minutes ago. Some of the other guys and girls saw this and decided not to disturb, so they left him there right up to until the morning is up. The sun is shining on Zuko's eyes and he's slowly waking up, but he feels something heavy on him. And he's kind of like trying to move, but it feels heavy on one side, but not on the other. So he's moving his arm on the part where wasn't feeling heavy, and covering his eyes because it's so bright. The sun is hitting his eyes. They still have another week of off because of some problems they have. Yeah. So Zuko actually finally opens his eyes, looks around, and he looks down, and he sees Suyu. She's in his head. He said, "Ah, she's so cute. I don't want to move, but I have to get up." But he waits for a few minutes, and slowly but surely, Suyu wakes up. She's pretty much talking in her sleep. Don't leave, Carol. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Don't leave. And she's like grabbing a little tighter on his chest. Zuko can't handle this, and he just pretty much wrapped his arms around her and kind of squeezing her, pretty much giving her a really big hug. And this kind of woken her up, and she opened her eyes and sees, and she looks up, and she was laying on Zuko, and Zuko's a little happy. He has a little smile on his face, and he's just hugging Suyu. So that very scene is going on, and they do not notice all of the other classmates right there about to wake them up, but they see this little scene and they do not want to disturb. But they're it's kind of funny to they're trying to hold their laughter, but Kaminari pretty much blurts out, "Wake up, sleepyheads! It's time for breakfast." And both Deku and Suyu blushes red, knowing and looking around, seeing that everybody else is right there looking at this little scene. Yeah, to me that was funny. But they woke up and they finally got a little adrenaline in them and finally went to their rooms and get dressed. Everybody else was eating breakfast and enjoying their time talking about everything. And the guys and the girls are talking about they should do something since this will be the last day. This will be the last week until the next break. And this one will be around on a Wednesday. Yeah, I'll do it on Wednesday. So they decide to, so the guys decide to hang out and do some, well, pretty much hang out. Go to some places, arcades, movies, stuff like that. And the girls are doing the same thing. They're all in that same living area talking about it. So the guys decide it would be a good idea to do it on, well, today, since it's really early in the morning and they have nothing else to do. The girls are deciding to do the same thing. As Suyu and Deku, sorry, are coming out, they were told they're doing that the girls and the guys are going to do some things together. And Zuko actually got a text this morning. He didn't hear it because he was sleeping, but he read his text and said today will be the day. Sorry, sorry. If I did not explain it, um, that all that invitation, that Toga and twice, it was on Monday, so on Tuesday. Um, so this is on Wednesday right now. So 2 days has passed. I just can't really think of anything else on that day. So the guys are and Zuko got a text from All Might and that they're gonna do it today. And Zuko said, "Oh, sorry guys, I have plans today, so how about this? You just take pictures there, where I can be included. I don't mind everything else. It's cool." And he's stretching. This is me, but I'm making it look like he is doing it. But he eats his breakfast. And Suyu, she's actually invited, and everybody and the girls are planning the places. They started around 10 to around 10 they're gonna go out and do it. And Zuku, around 10, they were, no, around 9, that's when he needs to go. So they all wake up around 7, so it's still early for them. So everybody's getting dressed, everybody's getting ready, making plans for everything else. And Suyu actually hears a knock from her door. She opens up, and it's Deku. Deku walks in, talk a bit, and asks Suyu where's her mirror. Suyu's a little okay, um, uh, and she moves some stuff and show him his mirror. Zuko looked at it and said, "Okay, Suyu, can you come closer?" And okay, she's right next to him. Zuko grabbed her hand and pretty much told her, "This is what I usually, as you already know, and you have asked the question before. How can I be so calm on certain situations, even if that's my first time? And this is how." And he turned on his quirk for him and Sugu to see all the threads, hers and his, everybody else's. And so he grabs on his thread and pointed away from him. And he said, "In this way, when I do it to myself, I can actually see the future. But I don't do it about a month ahead of the future, just to be safe. So if anything bad would happen, I'll be prepared and try my best to stop it." And oh, she's very surprised. Well, she's surprised and asks him why did he show her this. And Zuko said, "Well, I have an idea, but I need your help with it." And so Zuko pretty much finished that little scene, but they're now sitting on the floor. Her on the bed, him on the floor. And he's pretty much explaining his idea. He's pretty much saying, well, it's like this. When you guys are finished with all your planning and going out, you guys will be coming back around this time. And she said, okay. And Zuko said, and the guys will come back pretty much the same time. And she said, mm-hmm. And he actually explains, well, I want you guys, you girls, to do a judgment of sorts. Pretty much smash or pass. But it's more detailed. And she asked, why? And Zuko explained. And she, oh, ooh. And Zuko said, and I really, um, for those two people, would you please, or anybody else, I already, if you want, everybody, you can please record it where I can use it. And don't worry, I will do the same thing to the guys. I will tell them about it. So she's agreed with this and get ready for it. And Zuko goes to the guys. And since everybody is very friendly, he does this. He asks, what was that? He asked Ida, and Ida's pretty much the only one that's planned out everything. To the very top, to the very bottom of all the things they could do and might be doing. And Zuko pretty much tell him, since you guys are gonna do all this, I have one more idea, and this will be fun when I come back around this time. And Ida said, what? And Zuko said, how about we play a game, but it's more of a judgment thing. I'll put more detail to it when I come in. I know exactly you guys are gonna come in around this time. And he said a time. And he said, it's way off schedule onto mine. And Zuko said, there's no worries. I think you guys will be around here or there. So when I come in, I want to do it. It'd be cool if you guys are cool with that. And the guys are pretty cool with this, and they head off. Well, it's where Zuko head off. Everybody else head off in an hour. So they're doing their thing. Now Zuko is over at the office with Nezu and All Might, and they said, "Are you ready?" Zuko said, "Actually, I have a question." And they said, "Yes, Madara, what is your question?" This is Nezu. Zuko said, "Well, on I have this skill. As you know, All Might, I can see to the future and to the past." And All Might said, "Yes, I know this. You said about only 5 years, maybe 1 year back or in the future." And Zuko said, "Well, that's because I actually lied." And All Might said, "Oh, so how long can you go? 2 years? 5 years?" And Zuko said, "No, I can actually see right to the very beginning, where where you were born to the day you die. Even if you're in middle age, I'll see the very day you die." And he's kind of like messing with his hands doing this because he's very nervous. He never really told anybody how far he can actually see. And All Might said, "Oh, so was that a lie back then, or was it you just didn't know?" And Zuko said, "Well, in the past, I can go all the way back, but it would make me feel so tired and exhausted. But when I got your quirk on I actually was able to go all the way back and all the way to the future. With some problems, but not as bad as originally." And All Might's very shocked at this, learning that Zuko is almost like Nai, but way better. And Nezu is asking Zuko, "Why are you telling us this?" And Zuko said, "Well, the person we're asking the questions to, you said he lives for a long time, and there is a side effect to it. Not just to me, but to the person too. And what is that? And Zuko kind of like messed with his hair and said, well, if the person does not accept it, he mm, might die. Okay. Would you please explain to us how and why? Zuko said, sure. Um, it's pretty much like this. Everybody pretty much wants to see what their future is, so I do a little bit. Even if it's forceful, it'll be a little bit and they'll get a headache. Nothing else. They won't really notice it until later. But if I go any further, they start to bleed through their ears, through their mouth, eyes, nose, all of that, and then they probably would die. I have done this once. Sadly enough, I did not know the person was against it, and yeah. But when I have done it, actually have done it to myself. I couldn't really force it because I accepted it, and I could go on for a long time. So technically, and he put quotation marks, said, I can actually see my future, but I forget most of it since it's my future and I will forget. It's very confusing to me too. But yeah, that's why I only do. Well, I actually only do a month ahead before I know, just to be prepared for it. And Ome said, oh, okay. They'll change up some things, but guess we. And he looked at Nezu and said, and Nezu's actually thinking about this. Okay. So, time skip. All when they're going over into the prison, they're right there in the front doors, and they're actually doing some paperwork. Since it's a very high grade, very top of the line prison for the worst of the worst, the person that kills thousands or millions, they don't know. It's going to be very long and take about 2 hours to get through all the paperwork, DNA, making sure they are who they are and not imposters or anything like that. No way of anybody else getting through. And some heroes had to go through it too to protect them and the guards when if something ever goes wrong, something bad goes wrong. So here we go. This is not going to be action a show. If you guys want action, it will be in the next part. Right now, it's going to be only drama and some romance, but mostly drama. And here's my reason. At this point, it's going to be about 15 or older, 13 or older. If you guys are not as old as I said, do not watch any of this part. Go around, I don't know how far back up, but skip ahead until I don't say it. Until we skip over All for One. After that, you can watch it. I'm saying very vague because I really can't edit my videos right now. I'm all doing it on my phone. But here we go. During this time, they were All Might was actually talking to All for One like an original, asking more questions but not getting really answers from it. Just side answers, nothing really solid. So All Might pretty much gave up, and Jester, both Nezu and came in, and then Zuko came in. And All for One comments, why is a kid coming in? he seems barely out of diapers. See, like, sorry, I didn't do that. Okay, back to it. And Izuku pretty much walked up to him and asked if we could see. He pretty much had to ask because what he's gonna do is gonna make it worse. And he asked, "Sir, if you allow me, may I see what you have done in the past?" And All for One pretty much is very confused and asks the kid, "What are you talking about?" "Of course not. I will never tell you any of my secrets." And Zuko said, "Okay, Nezu, may I?" And Nezu said, "Yes." So he's turned on his quirk, the area effect, where everybody can see the threads. All the heroes are seeing all the threads. He did the whole room. He's actually shrinking it, making it smaller. But the heroes are actually walking closer and closer. They're all around All Might, Nezu, Izuku, around 10 feet away. Not too far, but not too close. And Zuko asks Nezu and All Might to hold on to his shoulders. And they do. And Zuko said, "Oh, okay, here we go." He grabbed on all for one thread backwards. And he's going as far back as he can, all the way to the point where he is breaking his quirk. At that point, the Nezu and All Might and All for One are seeing this. And they see red and then black. And Zuko said, "Okay, here we go." And he turned it away. Now they're going to see how his life has been for however long. I'll say he's been alive for 200 years. I know quirks would have been awakened around 1,000 years ago, so this is around the age of war was still ongoing. War was actually ending, and all the couples trying to make more powerful kids are still going on in those years. So we've seen in the story, in canon, how All for One pretty much awakened its quirk. Now, though, everybody else is just watching this, and it's on All for One's point of view. And they cannot stop it. Zuko can, but he's not gonna stop it. They need information, so he's gonna do it. Whoa. Here we go. Okay, sorry. So Zuko sees everything in canon, like how All for One gained the quirk and learning what it is. And at that point, it seems like it's very powerful. And his parents are very happy for him. But slowly but surely, they start to corrupt. They start using him. He didn't want to do what they want him to do. They asked, they told him to take away quirks from other people they hate, people they don't like, almost everybody, and they wanted the power, and told him to give them. He pretty much was forced to give them the quirks because they were quirkless at that point. It was around 40% of people were quirks, and 60% without quirks. So it's very rare. And they wanted quirks, so All for One did. But something happened. When he gave them the quirk and they started using it, it started affecting them even worse than the person that held it. And one of them, he gave his father a mind control quirk, but he couldn't control. He can control, but he wasn't able to really hold it together. He actually started bleeding through his ears every time he used it and couldn't really handle it. And his father was so mad that he gave that his son gave him a defective quirk. So he started beating him and making him starve and this is at the point where it wasn't at a young age. It was around his teens, around 15. So he had a good life, but sadly it ended when he started having his quirk, his power. When he gave a quirk to his mother, she actually went insane with power and wanted more and more. So all for one had to give her more because he still loved his mother and father. But at one point, one quirk more, and she started attacking everything. Her and she started attacking the house. She killed her husband and killing everybody around her. All for one was given a choice to either kill her or take away the quirks, which were the same. He just didn't know that at the time. So he decided to take away the quirks, and he did it all at once. And all that power taken away from his mother pretty much killed her at that spot. And he was still shocked that he took away all the power, but in the cost of her mother, of his mother. So he's very torn to this. He can't really he uh, he and he really doesn't know what to do, and he's kind of on his knees crying that both his mother and father are crying. Even both of his mother and father are dead, and some of his family members that was there were also killed, and there but one person came. This person was a person that wanted to test on the quirks and see how they go. So he pretty much took all for one away and did a test on him, seeing on what quirks he can take and what he can't. There was no limit to his power. Up to the point where the doctor decided to kill him and take away. He pretty much learned that